Yo, guys, welcome back to Straps Klat, the podcast where we talk things all Cleveland sports and more. And today, we got a good one for you. We got news on the NBA trade deadlines, Myles Garrett, and more. I'm Brian.
Yeah, I'm Timmy.
Let's get to it. So, we're going to start with the breaking news on Myles Garrett. Obviously, he requested a trade, and honestly, I think everybody's not surprised about this. I mean, the fact that Andrew Berry is holding him is going to be Jimmy Butler all over again. Your thoughts, Timmy?
Yeah, it's disappointing, but I'm not disappointed in Myles Garrett. That's my overview on the whole situation. It's really disappointing that Andrew Berry. I've got the laser eyes meme saved on my phone. It's disappointing that he let it get to this point. I mean, I sent the meme to the group chat. Anthony Schwartz not finishing a route now has turned into all Myles Garrett requesting a trade.
Yeah, and on top of that, we know that Andrew Berry is not going to do anything. So everyone's expecting a Jimmy Butler situation if Myles is not traded by the
A couple years ago, David Njoku did ask for a trade as well. So, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it's definitely a major red flag.
Right. So, if you don't get anything by the trade deadline, because Andrew Berry is turning down calls of first rounders, meaning you're going to either A, try to get Myles an offer he can't refuse contract wise, or B, go all the way like we did with Za'Darius last year, where you play a few games and then you get traded at the last second. That's where I'm expecting to go with this one. But it's not really. And we expected it, but there's not much to talk about in this one because it's just developing.
Yep, that's the NFL offseason for you.
It's not even the offseason yet. It's not offseason until Philly and the Chiefs play, which is coming up on Sunday, guys. Stay tuned for the Super Bowl. I heard that the expensive commercials are going outrageous this year, with Pepsi being the highest.
Wow.
I don't know what their price is. I forgot off the top of my head.
I'm excited for the Pringles ad.
Of course you are. If I'm being honest, though, Super Bowl ads take over majority of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But on to today's topic, we have the NBA trades, and tomorrow is the deadline. And there is news on Jimmy Butler. He was talking with the Warriors. He declined to sign a extension with them. So Phoenix is literally his last shot, and there are two ways this is going to go down. You have Bradley Beal waive his no-trade clause or a three-way team trade with the Warriors, and KD returns there. And then Jimmy Butler would take KD's spot.
What were your thoughts on the Warriors wanting Giannis Antetokounmpo?
That's still going on?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it. Deadline's not over yet.
That's true. You have till tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time. But yeah, I mean, I forgot because I forgot Giannis was on the open market right now, and there were also actual times where they would say Lillard would go to Miami like he was originally supposed to when he first signed with the Bucks, in their version of a three-way team trade with the Suns. The Suns are going to try to get Butler no matter what. They just want to see if they can get a third team to get in.
Where do you think the best fit for Jimmy Butler is, Brian?
I mean, the Suns are literally his last hope. If he turned down an offer with the Warriors, Phoenix is his last chance, and that's his preferred destination.
But you don't think that things could work out in Miami?
No. Look, they suspended him indefinitely. They're not giving him an extension. And Pat Riley, unless he tells Jimmy you're starting the rest of the year after the trade deadline, it's not going to happen. I mean,
Yeah.
Butler's already walked out, and he's caused so much mischief.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about the NBA trade that had the whole world shocked. Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we start this conversation, want to let all of our listeners at home know that Brian Metzel actually broke this news to me.
It happened one night. I was watching
Saturday night, man, or technically Sunday morning.
No, I think it was after midnight.
I'm sitting there just laying in my bed after the Royal Rumble, and you texted me that, we're going to have breaking news on Straps Clot, man.
I was just watching the Lakers game on primetime, and I'm going to bed, and my phone's blowing up that under the radar, the Mavericks and the Lakers did a under the radar call trade because the two GMs are friends. And Luka was traded to the Lakers and is expected to suit up tomorrow pending injury with his... I forget what he's injured with, but they're going to evaluate him tonight, and they might clear him tomorrow. Anthony Davis is also expected to be playing tomorrow or Saturday. Just depends on if they hold him till they come back home and play there for his Maverick home game debut.
Just absolutely groundbreaking news. If Luka Doncic can be traded, there is nobody, and I repeat, nobody in the NBA that is safe from a trade.
That's what everybody's talking about. They're like, "Am I next?" I mean, Ant was already talking about it. He's afraid, and he's like, "I just bought a house. There's no way I want to go now." I mean, you can't blame him. I mean, look what happened to Cat.
But one of the most important points I saw is that loyalty is a one-sided discussion in sports.
Yeah, I mean, it is a business.
But it's expected out of the players, but not expected out of the organization.
That's so sad.
Like, if it were the other way around and Luka was the one that was requesting a trade, imagine how upset fans would be.
And that's exactly what everybody's shocked about. They're like, Luka did not request a trade. This happened out of the blue, and you didn't talk to other teams for an open market value. The Mavericks got severely undervalued if AD doesn't perform like he did with LeBron when they won the championship in 2020 against the Miami Heat. But, I mean, what can you do with it? He's 31. Luka is a young star. There's a good chance he's going to be in his prime in LA. And everybody is speculating this puts LeBron's job in danger because LeBron's 40. They both play the same position. But Luka can also play center. And more can happen by the time LeBron retires. I mean, Look at LeBron. He's got at least maybe if he doesn't retire this year, maybe 2-3 if he's lucky.
I mean, this team is now a Luka Doncic-led team. And we are building around Luka.
That's what's happening, and LeBron's afraid. So there's speculations of LeBron going to the Warriors. There's speculations of KD returning to the Warriors because they're trying to get everybody one last chance, and that ain't gonna happen. I mean, it's gonna be either KD in a 3-way team trade or LeBron. LeBron said he wanted to stay in LA, but honestly, at this point, it's not up to him anymore because it's due tomorrow at 1 p.m. for the final decisions. I mean, can you blame him? LeBron's going to either get an extension or they're going to give him an unnoticed trade, and I don't think they want to separate him from Bronny. I mean, he doesn't want to be separated from Bronny, but still.
So we did have some breaking news right before we went on the air. Do you want me to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, I was going to get to that too. The Thunder and the Pelicans have also just gone into a trade. I'm going to pull that up as we speak because that happened right before, so I could not write that on my rundown. So.
Yeah, it started at 2 o'clock. So the New Orleans Pelicans traded center Daniel Theis and draft compensation to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, folks, this is a big deal because the New Orleans Pelicans were $1.4 million above the luxury tax prior to the trade. According to Bobby Marks' tweet, retweeted by Shams on X, they are now below the luxury tax. Big moves coming out in the West for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
I mean, the Thunder are favorites to win the West, and when Luka did get traded, they actually moved the Lakers to the third best team to win the West. It's not the Rockets, but I forget who's number 2. I want to say Memphis. Not certain. I know the Nuggets are still at 4, but yeah, that's been going on. And while we're talking about the West, let's get on to De'Aaron Fox, the man who requested a trade out of Sacramento, and he ended up landing, and excuse me if you guys saw that, I forgot to mute my phone, so please forgive me for that. But, yeah, I mean, De'Aaron Fox, he requested a trade out of Sacramento.
He was blown away from the Luka news, and then people were tweeting him, buddy, you're next. So get ready.
I mean,
and then, sure enough, day later, it breaks.
I mean, he requested, so it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But he got to play with Victor Wembanyama on the San Antonio Spurs. Fun fact, I am going to that game against the Spurs at home.
That'll be really fun.
It was, and we're not going to talk about the Boston game. I refuse to. We have more news to break on that, but that'll be another time. So it looks like, according to what I have, there was a 3-way team trade between the Kings, the Spurs, and the Chicago Bulls. The Sacramento Kings got sent De'Aaron Fox to San Antonio. Chicago got Zach LaVine to Sacramento. I almost said San Antonio. Yeah, so he went to Sacramento, Zach LaVine. We all knew he was going to get traded.
I think the bigger news was what just happened today as well, with the Bucks trading Chris Middleton. Did you see that?
I did. I actually have that prepped.
Yeah.
So let me see as soon as I can get that on my rundown. Chris Middleton to Washington for Kyle Kuzma, A.J. Johnson, and a 2026 pick swap. I mean, the Bucks are making big moves, but I mean, compared to the way they started off the season, can you blame them?
I mean, I just don't know if Kyle Kuzma is going to be that much of an upgrade over Chris Middleton.
Probably not, but they see him as a rookie, and everyone's thinking the next rookie is the next Jalen Tyson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, De'Aaron Fox, though, bro, we all know that was going to happen, but to think that Zach LaVine went to the, I almost said Spurs, the Kings, it's unbelievable to think about that at the same time, because we knew he was going to get traded, but I was expecting a 3-way team trade involving the Utah Jazz again, because they love getting involved as a frickin' bank, like they did in the Luka. What did this Jazz get for him? The Utah Jazz got as part of the third team trade, and they got Jalen Hood Safino, I think that's how they pronounce it, and a second round pick from the Clippers and the Mavs. So it seems it's a 4-way team trade with Luka.
Crazy.
Until I saw the Utah Jazz on my rundown, I didn't even realize that the Clippers were involved. It's, unbelievable on that. But, we got a lot more on that. So, next thoughts on who's going to be traded next. As predictions within the last 24 hours at the time of recording this, who's next on the line?
I think the Cavs need to make a move here.
I don't think they will, but they probably need to.
You said you didn't want to talk about the Boston game, but last night we lost to Boston for our viewers listening at home. And it was just an ugly... the Cavs play good, but Dean Wade is now the center focal piece of our bench. We're beat up, and we need Dean Wade.
That's what I was saying, because when we got to 15 points in the first quarter, I'm like, oh God, it's the game against the Pacers all over again, and let alone it was. The only difference was we couldn't stop the Pacers. We couldn't really stop the Celtics either, but they missed shots too, which allowed us to make a minor comeback. And you should have seen the arena. It was electric. But once we got to 4 points, which was the closest we've gotten all game, outside the... wait, was it 4? I think it was 4. We tied at 4, and the Celtics took ahead. And then we were 4 behind them, and missed, fell in love with threes. TJ didn't play much, and Strus fouled out. Everybody was in shock when he got 3 foul calls and straight, every time they tried. 1 foul, 2 foul, 3 foul, 4, you're ejected because you fouled out. But at that point, that was already over because everybody was already leaving the arena. There were a lot of Celtics fans there, too. We have one more game against the Celtics at their place in the TD Garden sometime in March.
Should be an interesting preview.
We can still split. It's not like we can't. But our next 3 games, we got tonight against the Pistons. Then we're off tomorrow. Friday, we got Washington. And then we're off until Monday. I know we got the Knicks coming up next week, but I don't know if we put the Knicks before All-Star or after All-Star. But, All-Star is coming up, too, in a week or 2. So...
should be awesome.
I'm still pissed J.A. didn't make it. He's a reserve.
Yeah. It's tough to have 4 All-Stars.
I guess we technically do, because Kenny is the coach. So
Brian, solid point.
So it's more like not making 5, but it's still up there, so can't really blame it. What else do I have on today's agenda? We have, I forgot, Trey Jones and Zach Collins, they went from the Spurs to the Kings because they needed more capital, which is surprising because you can't blame Victor Wembanyama at this point. Wemby is like the center of the Spurs, and he ain't going nowhere. Tallest center of the league, still a rookie, and people think that you build around him, and the Spurs have a good chance to claim the West.
We'll see. Looks like they're starting that process.
They already are, and I forget how young De'Aaron Fox is. I know he's around his prime, but I forget how young he is specifically.
Speaking of processes, I see that going much better than the one in Philadelphia.
Oh yeah, that. Thank you for reminding me. We also got a trade from Philly. So, as soon as I can find where they got it, right there. Caleb Martin used to be on the Heat. He actually played with Strus on the Heat when they made the run against the Denver Nuggets in the finals of 22 or 3. I forget. It's one of those two. It was the one before the Celtics. So I'm assuming that was the 23-24 season. So after they lost, Caleb Martin just walked out, signed with the Sixers, and it says Caleb Martin got traded to the Dallas Mavericks for a second rounder and Quentin Grimes. I've never heard of this man. Is he a rookie?
Grimes?
Yeah.
He's younger.
Yeah, so they think they can develop him. Good move by the Sixers. You just signed Caleb Martin as he walked in, and then you actually got something for him, regardless of how it works out. You got something. And I don't know. I think they lost last night. They were back and forth with Dallas, I gotta check the stats real quick, but I think they were up for a while, and then when we were leaving the arena, me and my family, I noticed it was really close. It was a 1-point game, and I'm going to check now to see what they were at. Where is my Philly people at? I know it's there. I saw it. It was against the Heat. No, the Heat were against Chicago. They ended up losing because Chicago made a comeback. Where? I thought I had it. I'll just look it up. I thought I had it in my fantasy. Let's see. That's on me, guys. False info on me. I apologize. So let's see where we're at. Score of the Sixers. To see what they were at. They were playing Dallas last night, and they did end up beating Dallas. It was really close. No overtime. Final score was 118-116 Sixers. They said Joel Embiid was going to play, but Tyrese Maxey, he was the player of the game. Not to get on the Philly side, but I'm just seeing. Oh, Joel did play. He played 36 minutes, got 11 rebounds, and 29 points. Talk about a double. Oh, and 10 assists. Triple-double for Joel Embiid on his first game back, like officially. Not the 2-day rest break thing. So, good for Joel. I don't know how that game ended, but I do know that that was the final score. So, obviously, we think the Cavs need to make a move. Any other team in mind? Outside the Heat.
It doesn't matter if it's not the Cleveland Cavaliers.
In your eyes. But on Straps Clout, we talk things not only Cleveland sports, but more. So, therefore, NBA trade deadline must involve the entire NBA. Because that is breaking news to everybody, not just Cavs fans.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, and I am too laser focused on the Cavs right now and holding on to that number 1 seed and what moves can they make or lack thereof. So, I mean, I guess if you look at it from an opponent's perspective, okay. We've talked a lot about the Western Conference because that's where the biggest move of arguably all time was made.
It is.
But looking at the East, I haven't seen any major shakeups in the East lately that I'm too worried about. What are some teams that you're thinking about to look as we move within the last 24 hours of the trade deadline here?
Well, obviously, like we said, I don't think our Cavs are going to be doing that. I think that Dan Gilbert's like, we're fine. Just give the bench more playing time, which Coach did not yesterday, and I think that's what kind of screwed us up because without Wade, the defense is the bench. And Merrill was the only one who could go crazy with threes last night, so that's basically what saved the game. But the bench didn't get much play time, so I think the starters got worn out. So I will admit we have a deep bench, but if we did anything, there are rumors of trading either Jalen Tyson or George Niang. I would prefer neither of those, but at the same time, we don't have any draft picks to trade, so it would have to be a player because we gave all our draft picks. No, wait, we have two. We have 2 second-rounders, but we gave all our first-rounders till 2030 to the Utah Jazz, which in turn gave our first-round picks to the Suns, which obviously we know they're going after Jimmy Butler. But unless there is a move with Jimmy Butler, I don't see any more moves coming out of the East. Maybe one in Detroit, but that's iffy. They might trade because there are rumors of Brendan Ingram getting out of New Orleans, but they don't know where to. There were speculations of the Cavs, there were speculations of the Heat, some with Detroit. You don't know. He can land anywhere or not get traded at all. I mean, Zion's back, so they might need.
We'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah. And that's another thing they said with Luka. He's not sticking to his diet, so that's why they didn't get much for him. Because they have a high risk of injury again.
Yeah, he's about to show up to Los Angeles like James Harden when they were talking about the fat suit.
That's pretty good. But, yeah, I mean, Luka is the highlight of the last 48, 72 hours. So, I mean, can you blame every little podcast, news source, and ESPN talking about it? I mean, they would not stop yesterday on, they talked about First Take and on their Sports Corner. Not Sports Corner, I'm sorry. Sports Center. I reference to our show, Sports Corner at Kent State. But, yeah, it's not much unless another one pops up here in, like, the next 15 or so minutes.
So the Cavs tonight are facing off against the Pistons in Detroit.
Yep.
We're sitting at 40-10. The Pistons are sitting at 500, 25-25. Facing off against our old friend, our old coach, J.B. Bickerstaff.
Once again.
What are your keys tonight for the Cavs to get a victory?
Get your shots and defense together, because that was the thing. There was one I was watching it. Derek White, double or triple coverage, and he hit one at the shot clock buzzer, somehow. So our defense needs to step up. I'm not expecting a game like we did against Dallas, where we got a record 91 first half points and a 50-point lead until the bench came in and they started making.
Do you think we'll see a 200-point regular time, no overtime game in our lifetime?
No.
I do.
With who?
I don't think it'll be anytime soon, but I just think that if the Cavs can put up 95 points in a first half in 2025, 91. We will see a... Okay. Thank you. We will see a 200-point game. I feel like the All-Star game doesn't count.
No.
Because that's already, like... There are regular season games now that are played like NBA All-Star games in terms of scoring. Like, that's how high scoring we get in a regular season game now.
Yeah, I get you.
So I just think that the way we shoot the ball now as humans, it's gotten farther away from the basket. I think we'll see a 200-point game. I don't think that's crazy to say.
You say that, yet the first guy when they were doing the half-court shots yesterday made it on his first try.
That's a fan.
It was, and he got it. 100,000 first try, and they got it on the half-court shot first try. Nobody else did, but there were a few close ones. First try, one guy did it. There were 7 of them. And the first guy, straight in, nothing but net, half-court, the whole arena was crazy. But TNT cannot show favoritism because it's not a FanDuel, so they couldn't show it. But you should have seen the arena. It was lit up. And it was sold out, too, so I'm pretty sure most of you have if you were at the game.
So the Cavaliers injury report for tonight's game. We're out Okoro,
Again.
Wade, and Luke Travers.
Luke Travers is a charged person, so...
yeah.
Wade can't get reevaluated until tomorrow, but Okoro's been out forever. What's wrong with him?
I don't know.
He might be the one to get traded.
He slowly fell out. He was a member of our starting group last year.
I think he's always been on the bench. He came in to start when no, you're right. Because it was Mobley, Strus, Donnie, Garland, and J.A. So unless J.A. was hurt and Mobley had to play center, I don't think any of our current roster outside Wade had to fill in for the forward position. But there were times, because I do remember Okoro's a bench player, but he did get the start a few times. I do remember that. But he wasn't a starter, like one of the main 5 all the time.
I thought he started over Strus last year at times.
No, when he was hurt.
Okay.
But Strus was always the starter.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. That's why we got him from Miami. We didn't get him to play on the bench. So.
Right. But he was the bench player because when he came back from injury, Wade had the hot hands, so they couldn't bench him. So that's why he was the bench. But now that Wade's injured, the positions went back to the way they were last year.
So jumping ahead a little bit here now before we wrap up on the day. The Cleveland Guardians play baseball in 17 days. Can you believe that?
I cannot actually.
Spring training!
I did see that. And Ohtani is, I think, now the highest paid player in all of the Major League Baseball, like the entire league. They gave him a new contract this past summer, and Ohtani's got like 13 years, $10 million, something like that, maybe higher.
Yeah, it started with Bobby Bonilla Day, where the Mets pay the Bobby Bonilla every year. We're gonna have Shohei Ohtani Day for a while moving forward.
I mean, it's gonna happen, but stay tuned for next week, guys. We're gonna have Super Bowl wrap-ups.
I guess we're out of time.
We are, unfortunately, but yeah, just stay tuned to next week's episode. We will be doing Super Bowl recaps, maybe All-Stars if we get to that time. I don't know if it starts Tuesday or Wednesday, so let me have a look at that before I...
In case you missed our episode last week, be sure to go back and check it out. Special thanks to Black Squirrel Radio for letting us have this podcast opportunity here at Kent State.
Black Squirrel Entertainment is found to be with everybody. Make sure that you stay tuned for all of the podcasts on the BSC, including our show podcast that are also coming up. They will be recording soon. And just for news before we cut, we have Sunday, February 16th. So, yeah, after we play the Wolves and the Raptors, we're going to cut, and then we got the next afterwards. So, yeah, we will be doing that. Let me see when's that at real quick, but it's the 16th. So yeah, not next week, but 2 weeks we're gonna have our All-Star breakdowns for you guys. So we'll talk Super Bowl next week, and yeah,
Take care, everyone.
stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.